Okay, let's dive into one of the most legendary books ever written about success. Way back in 1908, a young journalist named Napoleon Hill got this incredible, once-in-a-lifetime assignment from the industrialist Andrew Carnegie. And the mission? Well, it was to spend the next 20 years studying the world's most successful people to find a single, powerful secret to how they got rich. A secret that anyone, and I mean anyone, could use.
Now, Napoleon Hill was a bit of a showman. He was tricky about it. He never just comes out and says, "Here's the secret." Instead, he weaves it into every single chapter of his book, Think and Grow Rich. He had this belief that if you were truly ready for it, the secret would just pop out at you. So let's get ready together and see if we can piece this thing together, starting right at the source of all great achievements.
So what is this life-changing secret? Hill didn't just do a few interviews. He analyzed over 500 of the wealthiest, most powerful people of his day. We're talking giants like Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, and of course Andrew Carnegie himself. He was looking for that one common thread that tied all of their incredible successes together.
All right, so the secret. It isn't some magic formula or a get-rich-quick scheme. Not at all. It's actually a fundamental principle about the power that you have right inside your own mind. And it all kicks off with one single thing: desire. But listen, we're not talking about just any casual wish or a hope.
This right here is the absolute core of the whole idea. Hill's big argument was that thoughts are things. An idea, when you magnetize it with what he called a burning desire, becomes an obsession. It's this definite purpose that you chase with a persistence that just won't quit until it literally transforms from an idea in your head into a physical reality in your world.
Let me give you a perfect example. A guy named Edwin C. Barnes. He shows up at Thomas Edison's lab, completely broke, but with this one all-consuming desire. He was going to be Edison's business partner. He didn't just want a job. No way. This obsession was so powerful that he saw a huge opportunity in a machine that even Edison's own salesman had given up on, the Ediphone. And he sold it so successfully, he ended up with a national contract. His desire literally created his opportunity out of thin air.
And this same principle works even when you're facing total disaster. After the Great Chicago Fire, while other merchants were fleeing the city, Marshall Field stood there looking at the smoking ruins of his store, and he didn't see defeat. He saw the future. His burning desire to build the world's greatest store right on that very spot was the blueprint for the reality that came next.
Okay, so if a burning desire is the what, then what about the how? How do you actually do it? Well, Hill didn't just leave it as some vague concept. He broke it all down into an actionable, step-by-step formula.
So the formula has three really critical parts. First up, a definite purpose. And I don't mean I'd like more money. I mean I will have exactly this amount by this date. See the difference? Second, you have to create an organized, practical plan to get there. And third, and this is the one where most people drop the ball, unwavering persistence. You follow that plan no matter what gets in your way.
But to be persistent, you have to make a huge shift in your mindset. It's all about how you look at setbacks. Hill was absolutely adamant that there's no such thing as permanent failure, only temporary defeat. He believed that every single setback holds the lesson or the opportunity you need to win in the end, but only if you're willing to look for it.
The book gives us this classic cautionary tale that shows you just how high the stakes are here. It's the story of a guy named R.U. Darby. He and his uncle struck gold, and they were, over the moon. But then, just as suddenly, the vein of ore disappeared. They got frustrated, gave up, sold all their equipment for next to nothing, and just went home defeated. And here's the punchline. The guy who bought their old equipment, the junk man, he went and hired an expert, an engineer who knew about things like fault lines and geology. And that expert calculated that the gold was just 3 feet further down. 3 feet! The junk man became a millionaire, all because he combined persistence with expert counsel, the very thing Darby gave up on.
And that idea, the idea of seeking out expert advice, it leads us right into the next layer of this secret. See, Hill knew that nobody achieves huge success all by themselves. You need a way to amplify your own knowledge and your energy.
He called this the mastermind. Think of it like this. A bunch of batteries wired together provide way more energy than a single one, right? It's the same idea. When two or more minds are working together in harmony, all focused on the same goal, they create this third, invisible force. It's the power of shared motivation, of accountability, and of seeing solutions that one person alone would completely miss. And if you look through history, you see these powerful alliances everywhere. Henry Ford didn't build his empire in a vacuum. He had a mastermind with people like Edison and Firestone. Carnegie's entire success was built on his alliance of over 50 partners. And on a massive scale, think about Mahatma Gandhi. He coordinated the minds of 200 million people toward the single purpose of Indian independence. That's a mastermind.
But there is a huge obstacle, a major roadblock that prevents most people from ever even starting this journey. And it's not some outside force, it's an internal one.
When Hill sifted through thousands and thousands of cases of failure, one single trait just kept popping up, again and again, right near the top of the list: lack of decision. Procrastination, that habit of putting things off, is the common enemy that he believed pretty much everyone has to conquer if they want to succeed.
And the contrast is it's night and day. Successful people make up their minds quickly, and then they stick to those decisions. Think about how Henry Ford famously stuck to the Model T design. That single, firm decision is what cemented his initial fortune. Unsuccessful people, on the other hand, they're super slow to decide anything, and then they change their minds constantly, usually because they're worried about what other people think.
So why is being indecisive so dangerous? Well, because it doesn't just stay as indecision. It's a slippery slope. It starts small, but then it hardens into doubt. Then, that doubt and indecision, they mix together and they become fear. And that paralyzing fear is what kills ambition before it even gets a chance to take its first breath.
Ultimately, when you boil it all down, Hill's secret comes back to this one powerful idea, which is captured perfectly in this poem from the book. Life is a totally fair employer. It gives you exactly what you ask for. If you demand a penny, guess what? That's all you're going to get. But if you have the courage to demand a fortune, life will happily pay up.
So that's the secret. It's not one magic word. It's a system. You can achieve whatever your mind can conceive and believe, but you have to fixate on a burning desire, create a definite plan, pursue it with unwavering persistence, and then amplify all of that with the power of a mastermind. Which leaves you with one really important question to answer for yourself. What wage will you ask of life?